We are joined now by a longtime member of the ABC News family and longtime meteorologist at Good Morning America, Spencer Christian. He's also been close to the Carter family since meeting them on assignment back in the 80s. Spencer, thank you so much for joining us. Honored to talk with you. If you would, just tell us how you first met the former president.
Well, I was the summer of 1988. I was sent on an assignment by Good Morning America to interview President Carter. Ran up to where we were setting up and introduced himself. He said, "Hi, Spencer. I'm Jimmy Carter." An introduction, with that wonderful, soft Southern accent of his. And the next words out of his mouth, Lindsey, were, "The Carter family wants you to know how much we appreciate how kind you were to Billy Carter when you interviewed him years ago." I had interviewed his younger brother, Billy, in 1980, and I was struck by the fact that this former president was thanking me 8 years later for a simple act of kindness to his younger brother.
And what has it been like for you watching these images from President Carter lying in state this week to today's funeral at the National Cathedral?
Yeah, Lindsey, it's been sort of a mix of joy and sorrow. Joy that I got to know this incredible person and his family, and that our nation and the world were blessed by his presence and for 100 years. But a bit of sorrow as well in that I won't see him around anymore. We don't have his physical presence with us. But my spirits were lifted by the tributes that were paid to him. There were some wonderful tributes paid today.
Of course, we knew him as the president. We heard some of his family members who knew him as Paw. How will you and those close to him think of his legacy?
Well, he was obviously a great humanitarian, and he and Rosalind Carter devoted their entire lives, especially during the post-presidency, to serving humanitarian causes globally. The work with Habitat for Humanity, which I had the great honor and pleasure of joining them on once, and all the work in the most impoverished nations of the world, eradicating disease, vaccinating children, and again, building houses, and just lifting human spirits everywhere they went. I can't think of anyone I've met in my life who has done more to contribute to elevating the human condition than Jimmy Carter.
The nation, of course, said a long goodbye to President Carter this past week. Is there anything else that you'd be able to share with us as you see him now back in Georgia, soon to be laid to rest next to his beloved Rosalind?
Well, I spent a good deal of time over the period of 31 years that I knew them. Of course, I didn't see them regularly, but over that period of time, I spent a great deal of time in their company. I was always struck by the love story that was the life of Jimmy and Rosalind Carter. They were so deeply in love with each other.
What a love story. And I think that's what we've seen recently over these last few days is really the love story in full that so many had, not necessarily even for him as the president, but his post-presidency and him just as a person, as a man. Spencer Christian, we're sorry for your personal loss because I know you did know him personally, and we thank you so much for sharing your sentiments with us today.
Thank you, Lindsey. I appreciate the time.